I wanted to talk about the African diaspora because here in Los Angeles, there's a large group of different immigrant people, people from different backgrounds. And what really irks me is when you have people that are mixed nationality and they have African descendants in their family. You can clearly see the features, and sometimes you can't see the features, but you've seen they have like a black parent or they have like grandparent or relatives, and they deny that part of their family tree because of all of the hate and all of the tragedies that have happened in the past. I understand that, and it's very tragic, even what's happening now with some of the police brutality and some of the controversies that we have surrounding movies, surrounding issues that we, have having to do with black people and some of the, wars that black people have within their own cultures. And speaking of that, black people are very diverse. It's not just, we don't look one way. We can be dark, we can be light skinned, we could look, sometimes we could, if you read about history, some of us have phenotypes of white people and we have passed for white. There has been that. They can have lighter eyes, they can have lighter skin, they can have like softer texture of hair, they can range from all hues. We have a very, very diverse mixture in our cultures as us as a people. So some of us can look Hispanic, like the what you would think would be a typical Mexican person. But at the end of the day, we all come from that same place. There was a lot of mixing and moving around, and there was also the tragedy of rape and people being split up and moved to different continents and broken apart. So in this day and age, you see somebody, you can't always pinpoint who all is in their family tree. And like I work with somebody right now who she swears up and down because she's white. She thinks she's all white. She's just pure white. Oh, I'm not black. There's no black people in my family. But when you think about history and all of the stuff, that the tragedies that have happened with the mixing, the rapes, all that kind of stuff, you don't know what's in your family tree. You haven't shook it hard enough to actually see what's in your family tree. It could be anything up in there. So I feel like this generation is very ignorant about color. People look at your skin color, they look at your hair texture, and they think, oh, they know what you are. In terms of your what they would say your race, but you don't know. Look at, for example, the president Obama. He's got a white mother and a African father, but look at how he looks. They're not going to put him, like if he was to get in trouble or like say somebody like him, they're not going to put him in jail with the Aryan nation. He's not going to be in jail with white people. He's going to be in jail with somebody that looks like how he looks, like the typical black person that they would assume would be, oh, those are the black people, because of the phenotype features. But think about it. This is what drives me crazy. Not all black people look the same. Some are lighter skinned, some can pass for white. And see, this is the ignorance that I drives me crazy about white people when they think that, oh, there's no black people in my family. There couldn't be any black blood in there. We're pure white. And it's ignorance. And it's the same thing with people of color that come from Latin countries. Here in Los Angeles, there's a high population of Hispanic people. And I'll take one group for instance, Belize. They swear up and down, we're not black, we're not black, we're not black. But you see, they have the kinky hair. Some of them can be light. Some of them can look with softer hair or texture of hair. Some of them can look like a Spanish woman. And then are your black woman, or it could be a dark black woman who speaks Spanish. So there's a huge mixture. And they even have like a huge problem with race issues in some of those Latin culture, most of those Latin countries. And if you look at Brazil, if you look at Cuba, if you look at places like that, you look at Honduras, you look at, there's a large population of black people, and in Mexico too. And it's crazy because when they're here, they act like there are no blacks that exist in Mexico. There are no Hispanic black people, which is a lie. If you look at the African slave trade, you'll see that blacks were put in all different continents and places. Could be a mix. You could be a mix of anything. And I've heard this saying called mestizo. In belief culture, they say, "Oh, I'm a mestizo. I'm not black," And some of this is because of the racism and the tragedies that have happened in the past, and they don't want to identify with black culture here in America because they were born in another place, like Belize. And even we got that from Jamaican people sometimes, where because they're from another culture, there's infighting. So, but if you're put in the system, they're going to look at you, and if your phenotype looks more on one way, they're going to put you there. But even that, sometimes they can tell, they like, if you don't identify with that particular group and you don't feel safe, I'm not going to be put with white people even if I look kind of white. But if I identify more with black culture, then I want to be with people I feel more safe with. So I'm just using that as an example. It's not a great example, but still, it's like there's a lot of hate within, ourselves, as people, black culture and people of color. You know, it's sad, but we really need to read about more history, read about the African diaspora, and learn more.